Come on down, girl. Sorry, I had to make it like oh my God. I love you so much. Welcome, Kimie. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your big. So welcome. We're so excited. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, I am thrilled to be here again and be affiliated with the She Talks. As Katia said, what a great platform and opportunity for us as women. Just to get together, just to share our experiences. I really think that it is so important for us to be in service of each other, for us to, be there to support when we get knocked down. When we have an achievement, having support behind us and being recognized by our peers, it's really, really wonderful. There's no reason for any of us to be against each other or to be threatened by each other. We are here to support each other, and there's so much abundance that we all can have it all. And that's the reality of it. So as Markella said, I am Kimie Porter. I am the Chief Culture Officer of Choice Financial Group, and I have faced challenges as an executive, even more challenges as a female executive, and even more challenges as a female executive of color. But the reality is, for me, is I was gifted with a very difficult life, and it prepared me. So many aspects of what I went through as a child really helped me through it. So I'll give you a little bit of background of who I am and where I came from. So I was born here in P-Town at the Naval Hospital. I was born here.
Everybody knows that's Portsmouth, right?
Right.
If anybody just has moved here, they don't know what P-Town is, right?
I am a local girl. So I was born here. I was born as the illegitimate child of Joyce Fernandez, who was of Irish descent. She came from North Carolina, and she was one of 7. She came from a very poor family: alcoholism, abuse, neglect, every kind of abuse. My biological father was from the Philippines. He came from a poor family of 12 children, happened to make it into the military, and then came over here to start a new life. Now, I say illegitimate, but my mother was married to my stepfather, but she was not, she was married to him, but she wasn't happy. So fortunately for me, some people might be like, oh God, well that's kind of bad, but I really thought it was wonderful because I had 2 dads. I had a dad that we lived our lives as we were sneaking around. We were, I knew I had 2 dads. I spent time with my dad. It was unspoken, so we didn't speak about it. I couldn't tell anybody about it, but we knew. We never spoke about it to my stepfather. He was a wonderful man from the Philippines as well, 10 children as well, poverty as well. My mother quit school in the 9th grade. So both my dads had high school diplomas. So my mother left and got married when she was 16, not out of love, but because she needed to eat. And that was where she was coming from. So when I was born with a birthmark on my face, still there. It was much bigger. It covered probably 85% here. And so what it taught me at an early age, number one, it taught me to be humble. Because I will tell you this, one of the main lessons I learned is how cruel people can be, adults and children. And so as a child, I remember I dreaded going to any kind of new event where I was going to be around new people. Most people want to be the center of attention. They do everything they can possibly do to be seen. I was the center of attention from the time I can remember. But it wasn't positive. It wasn't like, oh, look at that beautiful little girl. It was like, oh, what's on her face? What's on your face? But the deal, and at the beginning, I would hide behind my mother, and because I was like, oh, I didn't, I knew people once they got to know me, they wouldn't see it. But anyone that I met knew it was the same thing. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. Fortunately for me, I had a mother that basically said, you know what? This is yours. This is what you were given. Hold your chin up. Hold your chin up. And she told me I was special. And I believed that when she told me that. And at some point in my life, I decided, you know what, own it. Because the reality is, as a child, as a teenager, when I walked in a room of a crowd, people looked at me. And I thought, you know what, you just need to own it because you're going to get, that's coming your way either way. So you can either make it positive or you can make it negative. And so I thought, okay, it's a gift. They're looking at me. I might as well just really, just own it and be that. And give them something to look at. Now, when I was 7, my mother was shot by her boyfriend, so we lived with her new boyfriend. And I was 7, my sister was 10. She had left my stepfather and my brother, who was 12, back at the house. And at some point, she decided she wasn't happy there, and I guess she told her boyfriend she didn't love him, wasn't going to stay there. And so one morning, it was New Year's Day, I think it was 1972, I was 7 years old, she told him she was leaving, and so he wasn't having it, so he pulled out a gun and he shot her 4 times. So I remember she had a scar here, and then she had 2 scars here. One of those bullets shattered her spine and left her paraplegic. And so she was sent away for over a year for rehabilitation because she had to learn everything. So she could feel from her boobs up. She could feel her arms, but everything else couldn't feel anything. And so we moved in with my aunt. My aunt was responsible for cleaning up the house that we were living in. And so my aunt didn't have any help, and she didn't have any money, and back then they didn't have hazmat teams or anything. You were responsible for cleaning it. So she brought us children, her 3 children, and me and my sister, and so it was 5 of us under 10. It was 10, 7, 7, 5, and maybe 4, and gave us a spray bottle and a sponge, a cloth, and we had to clean up the blood. And I remember it being in my mom's room and cleaning the blood, and let me back up. Let me back up.
Did you mention the big part?
Yeah, hold on. Let me back up. So he shot my mom 4 times, and then he turned around and he put the gun in his mouth, and then he shot himself and killed himself. So that's where all that blood came from. So then we went in to clean, and I recall that I just remember there was a lot of blood just everywhere. And as we were cleaning, there were chunks of blood. And as a child, I was like, I was thinking, it was registering so strange, like, I didn't realize blood was chunky. And then it dawned on me that that was his brains. And I remember it was really, it affected me. It affected me for a really long time. It was a huge impact on me. But
You were 10.
I was 7.
Oh, you were 7?
My sister was 10.
Your sister was 10.
Yes. So, but it wasn't, back then it was kind of like we're all kind of struggling, and no one's like, do you need to talk to somebody? Do you know? That wasn't our reality. Our reality was.
What year did you say it was?
1972.
72.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was born 1965. So back then, you didn't get help. You basically, and in the family that I came from, you sucked it up. That was the reality of it. I didn't have a lot of issues about my face because I didn't get a lot of attention about my face. My parents weren't like, oh my God. Basically, they were like, put your head up and suck it up. And that's what I came from. So we moved in with my aunt, who lived off of Little Creek Road, for those of you who are from here, in a 2-bedroom house. And we lived there. There were 5 of us children. We shared a room. They put bunk beds in there for us, about this much room in between them. And we lived with, she was 24, and her husband was 70. And her boyfriend lived there with us as well, and he was 20-something. And so, the dysfunction from the day, it just continues. That's the life. But I think many of our stories have a lot of dysfunction. And so, to us it was normal, because honestly, all of my aunts, none of them had children from the same father. They all had multiple. And I will tell you, one of my goals in life as a child, as a teenager, was to have one baby daddy. Truly, that was one of my goals. So we moved in with my aunt, whose boyfriend, unfortunately, was an alcoholic. And he had also came from the Philippines and came from the streets of the Philippines. And he had a very dark energy. He was mentally and physically abusive, and just in every way. And I was very afraid of him. He eventually ended up molesting my sister. So I just really navigated by staying away from him and trying to really feel and learn energy of, when to stay away and when he was in that place. But we were there for about a year, and then my mother came home and moved back in with her husband that she was married to. So we moved back in there. So this point, I was turning 8. I was 8 at that point, and we were starting a new school. And at that time, when my mother came home, I was so happy to have her home, but we weren't wealthy. My father was a cook in the military, and he had another job as washing dishes somewhere else. My real father, he went back to the Philippines after my mother got shot. He was out. So he went back to the Philippines. I didn't see him for about 10 years. And then I was basically my mother's caretaker, because they didn't send a nurse or anything like that. We didn't have that kind of assistance back then. Back then, I was starting school, and you had to walk to school back then, and it was probably close to 2 miles away from where we lived. And I remember she's like, "You're going to start a new school. You're going into the 3rd grade." And she said, "Go find a friend and figure it out. Like, go find a friend." Because most kids, their parents were walking them. And honestly, that's exactly what I did. Is I went out and I was just like, talked to my friends that I would see once in a while, and asked if I could walk. And I did. And from then on, I was independent. They gave my mother 5 years to live. So she was on a mission to make sure that, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And for all of us, for all me and my siblings, my sister at that time was 11 and my brother was 13. So I was really used to it. So I never thought as a kid that, I'm going to go to somebody's sleepover or to their party, because that wasn't my reality, because I knew no one was going to take me. I didn't have a ride. We didn't have money to buy anybody a present. So that wasn't a luxury that I had in life. But when I was associated with, curricular activities or whatever, I just knew that if I was going to do it, I needed to figure it out. Like, how are you going to get there? I was in chorus for most of my my school years, and any performance, it was like, I better figure it out. How am I going to figure it out? It's one of my friends, which was great, because from an early age, I operate independently. I was, just depending on myself, and that's a great lesson to have. I was not in fear, because I knew that, someone's going to be there, someone's going to help me out somehow. As I got older, my mother, she was a drinker, so we would go to. Well, let me back up and let me tell you something. This is kind of impactful in my life that I remember. I took care of my mom. She couldn't go to the bathroom. She had a catheter and a pee bag, so she would constantly get infections. And like I said, she didn't have a nurse, so she had to change that. And normally it was she and I at the house. So at this point, I'm 8 years old. I would have to change her catheter for her. And that for me I was so afraid to do it, because I didn't want to hurt her. And I was like, "No, I can't do it, Mom, I can't do it." And she's like, "You can do it, I can't." And I'm like, "I'm gonna hurt you." She's like, "I can't feel it." And I was just like, she can't feel it. But that was like such a pressure for me. But then became normal. Then I'm like, okay, time to change your pee bag, time to catheterize you, decatheterize you.
I became her nurse, basically.
I essentially I did. I became her nurse. But as I got older, she became angrier and angrier. And honestly, I loved my mom a lot, but she was suicidal anyway. She wasn't ever happy with her life. She didn't marry a man that she loved, and the one she did love, my father, left. And honestly, the reason why she got shot was because she found out he had a child with another person, so she got a new boyfriend, and then that boyfriend shot her. Ooh. So,
Have you thought about writing a book?
I know, people say that all the time. So as I got older, and I turned 16, I got a car immediately. They took me down, and I got a car, and I got a car payment. And they were like, you have to pay this much. And I remember it was like $125 a month. It was the basic car. It was an Escort, no air. She's like, "You don't need air. You don't need anything." There was nothing. It was like the frame. But I had that responsibility, from the beginning. Like I know I had to make my car payment, and I was in high school. So I worked all of the time, and then I got a job at the Limited. And then they promoted me when I was 17 to co-manager. I worked at Military Circle. They threw me in at Greenbrier. I've worked at every single Limited. I was at the Limited for 10 years. So I worked so much that they would call me at school. Like the office would go, Kimie Porter, come to the office. And I was like, oh God. And then my manager would be like, hey, you need to come in, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I gotta go. And they had work study back then. So they actually let me do that, you know, back then,
Wow.
leave and go to work, which was really great for me. So, you know, from an early age, I just worked. I worked a lot. And I tried everything that I possibly could do to get out of the house. And then I was in retail forever, and then I just decided, you know what, I don't want retail anymore. I've worked at every store. They sent me around to fix stores. And then I think the biggest store I had, they sent me to Salisbury. I opened up a store in Lynchburg, and I was at this point in time, I was like maybe 20 then? Oh, so after high school, I did go to college. I had no plan to go to college. You know, my mom had a ninth grade education. No one guided me on, you know, you got to prep for school. That wasn't in our reality. You know, no one did that. So when I graduated school, my mom's like, you're going to school, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm a manager. I'm set. You know, I'm a co-manager. I'm set.
Were you still at the Limited?
Yes, I was at the Limited from the time I was 17 until 27. So I was there for a really long time. And so she was like, oh no, you're going. And I was like, we can't afford it anyways. And she's like, get down there, get to Norfolk State. I know that they have a minority grant or a Pell grant or something. Go down, again, go figure it out. Go get in a line. And that's what I did. So I went to school and I worked and paid for my car payment. And then once I started working, my mom was like, you know, you also, now you're out of school, now you pay rent. So then and it was a small amount, like $100, but that's a lot for me, you know, at that point. And I was like, okay, I'm paying rent, I'm doing all this. Well, I didn't tell her, but I quit after, I guess I went there for a year and a half, and I quit. I was like, you know what, work's more important to me, that's what I care about. I quit school. I didn't work for a couple years, I didn't go to school for a couple years. And then I realized, you know what, they're hiring these people. I've been there now for, you know, a couple years, and they're making more money than me. And I was like, okay, I need to go back. And my girlfriend was like, I'm going back to school. You need to go back with me. And I'm like, your parents are paying for it. My parents aren't paying anything for me. And so I had been at the Limited for so long, they gave you stock options back then. Mm-hmm. So I sold my stock. I had enough stock to pay for 2 years of school. So I sold my stock, and I was paying for school. And then my mother, at some point in time, you know, she would have these, they weren't fits, but she would just have these rage outbursts. And she kicked me out. I think, I don't know, I either didn't put something in the freezer, I didn't fill the ice trays, or buy stamps or something. Like anything would trigger her. And she kicked me out. So I moved in with my best friend's mother. My best friend had moved out and got her own place. I moved in with my best friend's mother, and it was like heaven, because she was actually very maternal, and she washed my clothes. I'd been washing my own clothes since I was like 10 years old. So I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I lived with her, paid my way through school, and then when I graduated school, I had a party, and every single dime that I got from my graduation gifts, me and one of my best friends, we took all of our money and we got an apartment down in Chicks Beach, and we paid our rent for 4 months. And we were like, you know what? I know we're here for 4 months. You know, we're set for that.
What year was that?
Oh gosh. Well, it took me a long time to graduate because it was really, really long. So I think I graduated in 90. So it took me like 8 years to get through school because I was quitting and doing. But by that time so my girlfriend right out of college, she got a job at Jackson Hewitt. And then I said, I'm so sick of retail. I'm just really sick of retail. And she's like, you know, I said, I like the HR part of it. You know, I like the people hiring and all that. And she was like, okay, well, they're looking, you know, John Hewitt's looking for somebody, let's do lunch. So I went there, and then they hired me as a coordinator, a HR coordinator there. Within a year, and it was a young company. It was, you know, me and my friends are working there. We're traveling. It's a tax service if you don't know. And I remember that.
Thinking of the jingle, Jackson Hewitt.
And
I would let you do it, or something. What is it?
I can't even remember.
Help you do it. Okay. Sorry, I get jingles stuck in my head.
Yeah, so
and an advertisement.
So at some point, I remember, and this is how I became a director. I remember my boss was John Hewitt's stepdaughter, And she was like, hey, John said we can get business cards. And we were small at that point. We had under maybe 93 employees. So, and I remember her going, do you want business cards? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, well, I'm going to be the director of operations. And I was like, oh. And I thought, I was like, okay, I guess I have an option. I said, well, I'm director of HR. And she was like, yeah, that sounds good. And so that is how I became the director of HR at Jackson Hewitt. And then
You spoke it into existence.
I spoke it. I was just like, oh, here we go. So anyways,
How awesome is that?
that was really great. And then, I was there for about 5 years. And then I got married and then had children. And I will tell you this, that I decided that I would stay at home. So I stayed at home. My husband was like, you know what, take a year off. Well, I had a baby, and I was a director, and I traveled a lot. And I remember I missed her first words, her first walk, her first everything. She was at Old Dominion. It was a great program there. And my husband worked at Old Dominion, so he could see her every day. He took her, he picked her up, and he saw her every day during lunch. And I remember coming home from travel one time, and he was like, oh, Arden's sick. And I went to get her, and he was holding her, and she did like this to me. She was like, oh, like, she wanted her father. And I remember I cried so much, and I just thought to myself, no way, I don't want, this is not what I want. I want my child to know me. And so my husband said, you know what, just take a year off. Just take a year off. And our company had gotten sold anyways. And so I took a year off, and that year turned into, and then I had another baby, and then John left and went to Liberty, and he called me, he said, do you want to run my HR department? And I was like,
Liberty.
Yeah.
I know all the jingles.
By that time, I had had my other baby, and I was like, no, I'm a mommy now. Like, I'm a mom. Before I was a director mentality, I said, no, because I don't know how to not give my all. Mm-hmm. I'm either in or I'm out. So I was a director with a baby. She was incidental. Now I'm a mother, and I didn't want to do that. So 15 years later, another baby later, I had decided that I was ready to go back to work. By that point in time, I had met a friend of mine, my co-founder of the Goddess Gathering group. So for those of you that don't know,
I was going to say, tell us about that.
Yeah, I have
I could seriously listen to you talk all day, but we're going to leave a little bit of time for questions.
All right, so
too.
I'll tell you a little bit about this, and then we'll open it up for you guys. So my co-founder, Kathy Lamb, and I, we started a gathering, a Goddess Gathering. And it started, and I'll tell you this really quickly, it started because my best friend killed herself. Again, took a gun and put it in her mouth and killed herself. And so Kathy Lamb is a medium, and she was one of the speakers before. And my best friend, reached out to her from the spirit world and said, hey, I want you to reach out to Kimie Porter. Well, I didn't know Kathy from anyone. I had never met her before, and she reached out on Facebook and said, Stacy has messages for you. And I thought, what? That is the strangest thing. And so I ended up talking to her, and then she shared information with me that only Stacy would know. And so I believed her.
I get chills every time she tells me. Like, I just found this story out, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, right.
I was like, how did you meet Kathy? Because that's how I met Kimie. And she told me the story, and I just get chills every time she tells me.
Spirit world. So Kathy says to me, Stacy wants you to have a meditation, a release, because we were all crying, we're all really upset. And I said, okay, sure. And Kathy had never led a meditation. She was a closet medium. She was a director, of marketing at her job. And so I said, okay, that's fine. So I just sent out an email to my friends and my girlfriends and the family that knew Stacy and said, come, we're going to do a meditation of release. So Kathy came, led the meditation. We all cried, and then, felt great. Kathy led the meditation. And then afterwards, she said, Stacy wants you to do it again. And I was just like, oh, okay.
You're like, damn that Stacy.
So I sent
it something that you could see her saying?
Well, yes, because Stacy was the one that introduced me to synchronicity and consciousness, and she started having me read these books. So yes, she was the one that introduced me to that world, to opening up my third eye and and believing in the spirit world. So yes, so I did believe that. Wow. So that time I sent out a message and I put it on Facebook and did a event and caught it. I was like, just come join the Goddess Gathering, and it just just a random, didn't come from anywhere.
Kathy did not know Stacy
Never met her.
at all.
No.
There's no way Kathy would have known
Nope, never met her.
any of the stuff that she told you.
But Kathy was friends on Facebook with two of Stacy's friends. And both of them had posted something about Stacy's death. And when she read that, then she made the connection. And then that's when she connected with her. And so then after that, after the second one, she said, okay, well, Kimie, Stacy says she wants you to do it every month. And I was like, whoa, gosh. I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, every month. And I said, well, at that point in time, I had a detached garage, so it didn't affect my children or my house or anything. And it was a loft, and it was a large loft up there. And I said, well, I tell you what, I'll do it as long as it feels good and it's easy, then I'll do it. So we started doing it. That was 11 years ago. After I would say 6 months we were doing it, I was just like, Kathy, I said, I don't want to do it anymore. And she was like, oh God, Stacy's really upset. And I said, listen, I can't keep crying. We just kept doing release meditations. And other spirits would reach out to her that had killed themselves. And so we would start inviting those people. So we were all crying all the time. And I said, I can't cry anymore. I said, however, there are some really cool women that are doing some really cool things. Let's have them speak. Let's bring them in and let them share some stuff, and then we'll have a meditation that's associated. And she was like, okay, that sounds great. So that was 11 years ago. We still do it. It's not necessarily every single month, but we invite, we have a Facebook page, and we call it Goddess Gathering Global now, because now we've got a worldwide presence. Like now we've got people just from all over the world that follow and that have been here, and now we're connected with their goddess groups or their spiritual groups. What's
the goal of the group?
The goal of the group really is to expand consciousness. It is to raise the vibration of the planet, so that we're all operating from a vibration of love. And I think, that's the goal for all of us, right? That's the support. It's the unconditional love for yourselves and people around you. And being aware of, your thoughts and your words. And this is one of the things that I will focus on at the She Talks when we have the formal one, is that we are the creators of our reality. We speak it into truth. We speak it, we think it,
yes.
and whether you're conscious of it or not, you're creating your reality. So better to be conscious of what your thought process is. And and that empowers you. I mean, think of it. It gets. I listen to a lot of different speakers, and you had asked me one of my favorite authors, women authors, is Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon was actually a hypnotherapist who took a lot of people to their past lives, and essentially they really weren't going to past lives. They were taking them off this planet past kind of lives, and talking about where we are energetically as a planet right now. And everybody, whether you're on your spiritual path or not, you can feel that there is some kind of shift in the world today. It's a change in the world today. And our purpose is to just support each other while it's happening. It's dismantling. The government's dismantling, but there's aspects of it that doesn't work. So in order for us to operate at a high vibration and to operate from a place of unconditional love and non-judgment, it's really, really hard to do, honestly, because you judge yourself more than anything. You're constantly your worst critic. So it's really about that, and it's been really great that we do that. And this, to me, everyone's like, "Are you nervous? Are you nervous?" And I was like, "No, it's a big goddess gathering to me. It's just another goddess gathering, and everybody is invited to our goddess gathering. We send out an invite when we have them, and I don't care who comes, who doesn't come. I don't care if it's 5 people or 50 people, and a lot of times it's like 30 or 40 people.
And it's at your house, which is amazing.
It's typically at my house.
Our house looks like a castle. Like the guy that built it actually did I don't know what that's called. I don't know what
it's called.
It's such an eclectic house. It's in Norfolk, and it's free. Like
it's
anybody can come.
Yep, it's absolutely
Everyone
free.
Kind of brings a little something to snack on.
If you want to.
If you want to.
Right? If you want to, you certainly can.
It was like, the last one was, I brought Katya with me. She enjoyed it. It was like transformative. I mean, I thought it was amazing.
Well, you know, sometimes we have speakers, most of the times we have speakers, but sometimes, and I really liked it because last time the very last time we did it, we really just did a meditation. We always do a meditation because what we're really trying to do is to reprogram our brains. We're trying to restructure our mindset so that we are thinking in a positive way, so that we're processing the information that's coming through us through this thing we call life, and we are processing it to the best, to our advantage, to the highest advantage that we have for us and for the people around us. And meditations are really great for that. And there's just a lot of cool women there that have different modalities and they utilize different tools. You know, there's different tools that speak to you, whether it's Reiki, whether it's hypnotherapy, whether it's, you know, just there's all kinds of stuff.
Somebody was asking for Reiki this week, and I can't remember who it was, but
yeah, there's lots
of people in that group.
We have lots of Reiki masters. I will tell you, I'm a Reiki master. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I am certified in feng shui. I've gone through a course that's called the
See, she doesn't like talk or brag or try to sell anything.
I am not
makes me crazy because I'm like, I didn't know this.
Honestly, for me, I just want to learn it. Like, I just want to learn it, and it's a great title, sure, but I don't really use it to make a living or anything like that. I want to learn it because I want to understand how it works, like energetically. I want to, like I said, you all heard my story. My mother was an angry woman. I grew up in an angry environment. I was angry when I was young. You may or may not believe this, but I was suspended from school several times. My report card said failure to control, or lack of control, always. Like, I would, in a blink of an eye, if you crossed me, I was very repressed inside. And, you know, we would go at it. I mean, I was hood for sure back then. So I've worked really, really hard in my life to recognize that that doesn't serve me, and to really grasp my challenges and struggles, because every single one of them have made me who I am today. Every single one of those struggles helped me in my job as an executive woman who is I'm a minority. You know, I go on these merger partner meetings. We buy companies all the time. I'm a part of the integration team. I work with, you know, all of these men, and they're older white men. It is the boys club for sure. But because of my background, like, I'm fearless, because you know what? Number one, you know, a CEO or somebody who may not like me, who doesn't, I will tell you this, there's a lot of men out there and executives that do not like working with women who are confident and who will say what they need to say and will respond in the same tone that you're speaking to them. Like, at this point, and my age in life, like, reality, I don't give a shit. Like, I have nothing to lose. I really don't. It's like, have I been fired from it? You know what? I've been laid off. At Liberty, I laid off 40 people one year, 70 people the next year, 100 people, because we got bought out and they were moving and we weren't doing well. 100 people I laid off one day. I orchestrated it, and then at the end of that day, they called me up and laid me off. And I knew it was coming. I told my team, I said, guys, I'm going to be included. And they're like, no, there's no way, Kimie. I was just like, yep. They're moving to Texas. I already said I don't want to go to Texas, but, and you know, it was absolutely fine. I said, it's fine. I'm marketable. I'm secure about my skills. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it a long time, and I'm going to be an asset no matter where I go. And you know, when I fired those people, and I tell you, I've done it in several ways, like one-on-one, but at some point it gets so big that I'm in a group like this, and I'm firing you all. Like, they're just like, Kimie, like, I have my team, every one of you get a packet, you've got your severances in your packet, and then I'm up front. And I'm going to tell you, looking at those faces, it's really, 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 really hard. But what I told them is, this is not the end of your world. This company is not the end-all, be-all. You are here, you have been doing a great job. We're not letting you go for that. We're letting you go because of the company. You're going to be marketable. You're going to be an asset somewhere else. And I believe that true about myself. I've never worked anywhere where I wasn't an asset. And so, you know, if I come across a CEO or a VP that doesn't like embrace me, then this is not the company for me. And that's the other thing I would say for women is to trust. You know what? You're not always going to get that opportunity that you think that you want. Like, that's the perfect opportunity. Be open, because the universe is in divine timing. It's divine intervention. Trust that things are on its way the way they're supposed to. And, you know, it's hindsight, because then afterwards you're like, oh, damn, I'm glad I didn't get that, because look at the opportunity that came my way here.
Right.
You know, look what I'm doing now. There's always something better. And no decision, it's like, don't freak out about making a decision, because no decision is the wrong decision. It's just the decision for you to go down that path. So that's kind of my story. And I know our time is zipping, so
No.
I'll open it up for questions.
Nothing's off limits. Nothing's off
When are
limits.
your meetings that you have?
We typically have them on Friday. They're always on Friday. I don't never really know when. If anybody's interested, you can go to Facebook and find the Goddess Gathering Global, and it's capital GLOBALG.L, and that's giving light, offering blessings, and serving love, and offering love. I'm sorry. So yeah, you can go, you can join it, and then we just post it. And, you know, honestly, Kathy and I, even the last one, she got to my house, she goes, who's coming? I was like, I have no idea. She's like, how many? I was like, I have no idea.
It's always been at least 25. Like I've been to 3 because I can't make a lot of them.
Right.
But yeah, it's always at least like 25
Yeah.
or so people. Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's, like I said, we've had 50 in there and we're like sardined in there. But whoever shows up is supposed to be there. That's why we don't really worry about it so much. But it's a great thing. I will tell you, energetically, when they're done and women come together and, you know, we let everybody introduce themselves. I mean, honestly, it's exactly what Markella has created, right? It's an event, a regular event for people to socialize of like minds, right? Right now, you know, you guys are professionals. You're trying to promote your businesses, you're trying to look for opportunities, you're trying to connect. Same thing for the Goddess Gathering, except it's really on the spiritual path. It is the path of remembering who we are. I believe, and you know, and I can get very, very woo-woo at times, but
We're gonna call it something else, not woo-woo. What is the name we came up with, Jen?
Science?
the quantum,
one.
the
Energy. She's Jen.
I was gonna say Jen calls it Genergy, and does it very well as Genergy. It's
Energy
you know
healer.
it's a quantum mentality is what it is. It's a quantum
It is
mentality.
science, though.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
science.
It absolutely is. People don't understand it, but meditation, everything, it affects you biologically. The way our thoughts go out to the universe, you know, they call it the law of attraction, or what, you know, it's molecular, it's going out, it's being picked up, and it's coming back.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's how it works. It's like you understand the science, the formula of how it works. It's your thoughts. It is you thinking about it. You know, one of my favorite not tests, but scientific experiments is Dr. Help me out, Jen. Do you know?
Oh, the water guy?
Emoto.
Emoto.
Yes. Dr. Emoto, it's the messages of water, and I love this. And what he did was he took some water, took a little bit of water, and then would talk to it and yell at it and go, I hate you, you're ugly, or da-da-da-da-da. And then he'd put a drop and freeze it and then look at it underneath a microscope. And then he'd do it for love and say, I love you, you're wonderful, you're this, you're that. And then it would freeze into this beautiful snowflake kind of shape. And then, you know, and the one that he was talking really bad to, it was just like a blob, you know, a blob. And then he went so far as just to put it in little canisters and label it. And same results. The one that's labeled with love and positivity resulted in something beautiful. And what he says is, you know, us as women, we are always so down on ourselves. And you don't even realize that you're saying it. It's like, well, I'm getting old. Well, you know, I'm losing that. That's what happens. My back's giving. You know, I say now, I'm just like, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting younger. You know, I consciously say that.
I'm becoming a billionaire. Did
Yeah,
you know that?
absolutely.
Did y'all know that?
That's the reality of it. But
Casting spells, that's why it's called spelling.
Spelling, the words that you say,
It has
spelling.
spells on you.
Everything that comes out of your mouth is powerful. But if you think about yourselves, and what are we made of? What are we like? 85% water, 80%, 78.9% water. So you are programming your body. When you tell yourself, oh my God, my thighs are huge, your thighs are going to accommodate you. And they are going to be huge. They are going to be constantly huge. It's like, be aware of your words so you can create your reality, so that your body can respond, so that the universe can respond to you and give you whatever it is that you want. Now, the challenge is to be clear about what it is that you want, and be careful about what you're putting out to the universe. You know, they say the gods, they punish you by giving you what you want.
Right.
So be clear as clarify what you want, and really think about it.
You clarify. Give me an example.
Oh, give you an example, like, so maybe focusing on one person, maybe you just want that one person, I really want that person. And you get that person, and then that person's abusive to you. Maybe you say, in my life, so one of the things that I say is, I don't say I want a certain amount of money, but I do thank the universe all the time, thank you for my abundance, because what they say is if you put a limit on it, then you've just limited it. The universe might give you 10 times that amount, so why would you limit that? I always give gratitude, and they said one of the best ways to manifest is to give gratitude, and to believe that you already have it, and to act as if you already have it. But I always give thanks to a life. I say, you know what, thank you so much for my life of leisure and luxury. Thank you for helping me shift the planet. But I want to live a life of luxury. I'm telling you right that, like, I want to travel. I am fortunate enough to live in a beautiful home, but I believe I was gifted with that home so I could bring women together and utilize that space. And it was my father's, I mean, not my father's, it was my husband's family's home that we purchased when they passed away. But it's just a great platform for, you know, what I know my purpose to be. It's like, I know my purpose is to shift the vibration of the planet. I know my purpose is to keep my energy at a place so that I am grounded, and so people around me are grounded. Now, don't take that that I am just all wonderful kindness. It's a work of art. I mean, it's a work in progress for me. At work, I've implemented programs, wellness programs that are meditation programs. I did that at my other company, which is why I actually went back to work, because my husband's like, oh, Google has a mindful program. And he's like, you should do that. And I said, I should do that. And I was like, he goes, that means you have to go back to work. And I said, yeah, that means I have to go back to work. I made a phone call to John Hewitt. Within 4 days, I was back at work. He said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to be your director of mindfulness. He goes, I don't have that. and I said, I was like, well, just something part-time.
She just created a position for herself.
Yeah. And he was like, that doesn't work for me. But, you know, he goes, but tell me what you want to. I said, I just want something part-time. I want to come in. I want to implement some programs. And he said, what do you want your title to be? How much money do you want? And when do you want to start? It's like,
dang.
And I was like, I'd been out of work for 15 years. I did not negotiate well. I was like, well, what was I making back then? I was like, how about that? And he was like, perfect. And then I got in there. I was like, oh, damn. This really isn't that much 15 years later.
He is a director of HR?
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, the reality is like, I went back, I implemented it, I did the wellness I called it, for him, I called it Liberate Your Mind. And it was liberate your mind. Oh gosh, can I remember what it stood for? Liberate your mind. Oh God, I can't even remember. But it all represented something. LIB. Liberate your mind. Optimize your time. Value being kind, and evolve something. And affect the something. Anyways, liberate, optimize, value, and evolve stood for love. And so that was the program. I did that, and every single week I would invite everybody on our. We had 4 different offices. There was like 600 employees there. I would invite whoever wanted to come to a meditation, and I would not hold your passion, and you can incorporate them together. You know, and for me, I just meet some really cool people along the way. I'm just so grateful for everyone who shows up, and whether they come one time or whether they come every time, I'm just grateful that they've affected me in some way, and I've learned something from them. For me, it's all about learning and continue to learn. And that's what I got.
That's awesome. What other questions do you guys have?
I have one for
I
you.
feel like you guys are holding back.
One of the things tell me more about this one, because I found it so gracious of you. I'm like, I really want to come to one of your goddess events. I really want to come, and you would say, you'll come when you're meant to.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
she said that to me too, and I was like,
Tell me a
huh.
little bit more about it, because that's gracious. That's
Yeah.
like, no pressure,
Yeah.
just when you're meant to. I'm
Well,
like, wow.
and that's the reality of it. I mean, a lot of people, I'll say, this is what I do. I have a goddess, and then they'll go, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. And I have no expectation. Like, I will be honest with you, I'm not selling anything. Like, I forgot my cards today. I'm not selling anything. All I'm doing is just sharing with you like my purpose and what I believe to be true. And if it resonates with you, then you're invited to come into that circle. Like, no one is pressured to come, and the reality is whoever comes, they're meant to be there. And when the opportunity presents itself for you to show up and be there, then maybe you're ready for what needs to be said that time. Maybe the speaker that is speaking, it doesn't resonate with you, and you don't need to hear that. Because I will tell you, some of our speakers are it's hard to wrap your head around. They're a little elevated in their place of evolution or their spiritual path. Some not. Sometimes, like I said, we just do the meditations, but it's really what resonates with you. And I have no expectations. Like I said, I'm happy to have my gathering when it's just me, and if it was Kathy and I, then we'd probably do something with she and I, and it doesn't matter to me, because I just know that I'm supposed to make the space, and whoever shows up, and a lot of times people are like, well, give me your cards for the goddess gathering, and honestly, like, we've never pushed it. We're just said this is what we do, and I'm surprised. I'm like, wow, we're close to almost 2,000. I think we have like 1,800 people that's in the group at this point in time. They're ready. They're ready to hear what we have to say, and those are the people that we're supposed to be, working with and sharing space with. And that's a part of the trust thing. Like, trust that whoever comes is supposed to be there when they're going to come. Like, I have no expectations. I have no expectations of who shows up. Kathy and I both. The reason why we've been doing it for so long is because we just kind of go with the flow. We go, I have no idea. I mean, we've had some phenomenal speakers come, and that, people walk down there like, oh my God, that's great. Even the people who have come to my work, we've had some phenomenal speakers, but.
Oh yeah, are you still looking for speakers
Yeah.
for this year? So
Yes.
tell me what you're looking for.
So, well, essentially, we have a wellness plan, and I really am looking for speakers who can speak, because, you got to know your audience, right? So I don't really talk about, you could ask my team up here, my coworkers here, I don't really talk a lot about, I don't push that. You kind of got to know your audience. So we're looking for people that can do wellness thing. I mean, it's professional. The reason why I bring you in and I can pay you a fee is because Cigna's backing me. And so when I work with my trainer, and he's like, Kimie, I have this idea, so-and-so. And I was like, how are you going to spin that for wellness? How are you going to make that? We've had sound healers come in and do gong baths. And I was like, put a spin on that. How are we going to spin it? I try to pull my goddesses in and try to do it. But they have to be speakers that, that fit that mold of the wellness mold, so that Cigna can recognize it.
So what type, so.
Business. Financial, well-being, mental, emotional, any kind of spin, it's wellness, and now it's pretty broad. So, we try to, the last one that we did, we actually, Chris was getting, my trainer was getting, Karen spoke.
Yeah.
Mine was positive psychology.
Yep,
Okay.
positive psychology. And Jen, what was your topic?
It was kind of meditation and energy, who we are as energy beings.
And then one of the she was here earlier, and she spoke about I think she spoke about maybe retirement funds or something like that, or financial the psychology of finances or something like
was it
that.
Suzanne?
Yes, it was Suzanne.
Oh, awesome.
So anything financial, anything well-being, mental, spiritual, we can put it under emotional. We can put the spin on it. But Chris did one. He brought his friends in, and they actually did. It was comic, right?
It was comedy.
Yeah, it was improv comedy,
Oh, that's cool.
and you know how that affects you positively.
How long can they?
Essentially, we have you come in and speak for like 20 minutes, and then just like this, it's the same platform, and then but it's in a smaller room. Like we do it in our boardroom, but then we also stream it to our company nationwide.
Nice.
So everybody in their offices who want to jump on are also getting it as well.
Very cool.
So-
that's right where we did the gift wrapping.
Yes, exactly.
boardroom.
Yep.
Okay,
So we
awesome.
go in the boardroom, we do it. We have
Nice.
we got a great camera. You can walk around, but we've done all kinds of really cool things in there. The sound healing was really great. Ann Leonzo, a local sound healer here, she came in, brought her gongs in there, brought her Himalayan bowls, lots of cool stuff.
She was gonna come to this event, but then couldn't. But
She had surgery yesterday. Yeah, she had mouth surgery yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Um,
But we're gonna have her probably come to one of the.
So yeah, so she's pretty phenomenal, but yeah, I really as much as I possibly can do is number one, bring people together, but also inject a little bit, of the quantum reality to them, just so that they're opening, so that your minds are opening up to something other than what you've been programmed by your parents and society. It's they say, and I believe it to be true, it's all an illusion. I believe that it's a dream. If we just view it as we're all in the dream and we have control over the dream, if you have control over the dream, you would make it your best case scenario. I know in high school and more in college, I would use this, like my friends would go, let's go here, let's get in there. And they're like, we don't have tickets. I was like, it's gonna be great. Don't worry, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. And then it got to the point where my friends would go, okay, Kimie, work your magic. I was like, just believe it to be true. We're gonna go.
Okay, since this is this is the magic of smaller groups, right?
Yeah,
And this is why this is a perfect size, I should say perfect size group, right? Because Katya and I were like, worried about the chairs, and we're not gonna have enough chairs and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's raining, and then I'm like, it's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna be exactly what it was meant to be, right? And this is why I like smaller groups, because y'all can keep a secret, right? What you were saying about how it's gonna be amazing and we're gonna get it and work your magic,
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a little story with you guys. So, 2 years ago, 2022, I had lost my job, and one of my bucket list items was to meet a president. Didn't matter which one, right? But the president was coming in town to Kempsville Rec Center. I don't know if you guys remember that. And I said, I'm not working. I'm gonna meet the president this week. So, and like nobody really knew, like a lot of people didn't know about it. It was last minute and all this stuff. And so I was on the phone with my friend. I said, I'm gonna meet the president this week. She goes, how are you gonna do that? I said, I don't know. She goes, you have an invitation? I said, no. And it was like high security. I fucking got in and met the president. Like, I don't know how I did it, but I basically snuck in. But I acted as if I was on the list, and I was like, I don't know how I did it.
Well,
I made it, I probably could go to jail. But I was like determined, right? And so, like, that's just how your mindset is.
It's one of my favorite sayings is believe it to be true, and therefore it is.
Yeah.
And that is like what I try to live by, And this too shall pass,
You just, you have it in you. You just have to think.
We all do, right?
You can be clever. You can always figure out a way.
All of us.
If your life depended on it, if your child's life depended on it, whatever, your husband, whoever. So in the spirit of giving and in the spirit of making sure the time, I think there's some extra stuff here. Do I have everybody's business card? And if you don't have a business card, I have Post-its up here. Do I have everybody's business card? If not, bring it up. So we're gonna give away some fun gifts. Anybody? Come on up. You didn't put it in here? Do you need one? Okay. Anybody? Anybody else? You didn't put one in? Okay. So we have some fun prizes to give away. And I'm just gonna let you guys come on up and pick what you want. Does that sound good? Because I don't want people stuck with something they're not gonna use or give away. We've got some fun. These are mostly bath products, I just realized. Oh, fold it up. So it doesn't stick to anything. Anybody else? You can come up.
Yeah.
Come on up. Do I have everybody's? Okay. I'm gonna let Kimie pick.
Sure.
Actually, I did this because everyone's like, oh, the jar's too small. You can't mix them up. So I'm gonna try to mix them up like this. All right, you can't look. Try at least 1 or 2 out of 4. Make sure you pick a non-business card. Okay. Everyone's like, nobody ever picks the Post-its. Okay. All right. Can you guys stay just like a few more minutes?
Okay, I'll pick a business card there.
Oh my gosh. This is Stacy Heath.
Oh.
Come on up, Stacy.
It's you winning, Stacy. My payroll person extraordinaire.
So I'm gonna take these out. And you can come on up and pick. This one has really fun, like shimmery pink lashes in it. I try to do some really fun stuff.
I'll do the next one.
Ooh. Okay, this is really fun. So this is like a vintage, it's like a makeup remover, total makeup set. And then it's got like a charcoal face cream and then like bath bombs. Enjoy. Oh, and it does say hearts and hugs on the back. Congratulations. All right, who's next? Katya, I want you to come up and pick, actually. We'll do half and half.
I love it.
I'm mixing them up. Oh, okay. You don't have to close your eyes yet. Just okay, if you grab 2, they both have to go back in. Okay, shoot. All right, who is it? Rachel K. Rachel! Come on up.
What did I win?
You get to pick. You get to pick.
These are all Bath and Body Works products. So it's Emily in Paris theme. This one's a little bit bigger. This one has a shower gel in it.
Okay.
And then this one's like a little mini one.
Okay, I'll take the mini one.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put it back in.
Thank you.
I love little bits.
So good.
I know.
This one has the shimmery pink eyelashes in it.
Oh, ooh. I have the best story I'm going to talk to you after about my first time I went to a goddess event.
Oh, I remember.
With
I remember him.
My son's dad.
Yes, I remember.
And I was so embarrassed because somebody had invited me to the goddess gathering. This is 8 years ago because Giovanni was a baby. So I had my baby in there and I came to the door and the person that opened the door was like, and my son's dad was with me. And I was like, oh, we were invited tonight. And they were like, yeah, but there's no men here. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You were
And
like,
I'm
oh, come on in.
But then you were like, come on in, and he has a very feminine spirit too to himself, so I was like, maybe they felt that. I don't know.
That was the first time we had a guy there, and it was great. And we
just kinda
eventually started
started
opening it. We now guys are welcome.
Okay.
But that was, I remember that.
I'm mixing these up so good. Okay.
You have a good memory. That was 8 years ago.
That was the
If there's 2, you gotta put them both back. Are they
Oh.
stuck together?
Yeah.
So the rule is if there's 2, I will put them both back in there so they don't stick. Oh, somebody folded theirs up with the sticky side on the outside.
That's the one I wanted.
Okay. All right. Okay. Marisol.
Oh my gosh.
Birthday girl. This is not rigged, I promise. Would you like
Yeah.
A or B? This one?
My senior HR executive extraordinaire.
Hi, everybody.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Katya, last one.
Randy Conkle.
Randy!
Did you claim it? You say I'm winning the next one?
Did you? Did you really?
So while
This
she's
is
getting
so
that,
fun.
I will tell you one of the things that I did recently manifest, which was really exciting for me. Years ago, probably like 4 years ago, well, it was a long time ago. I can't remember. Maybe it was within the last 10 years. I decided that I was like, oh, I want to be on the cover of a magazine. I want to be the cover of a magazine. So I took my picture and I put it on the cover of a magazine. And I put Kimie on it, and then I just, threw it on my desk, and eventually I threw it away. But I put it up there. But just recently, a magazine reached out, and it's called CIO. It's Chief chief information officer or something anyways. It's an international magazine that recognizes business executives. And this one is going to come out in March because they're doing a special edition for women, and I think the focus is women of HR executives, like 10 most influential, something like that. But so I just manifested my magazine cover.
Amazing. How long between you putting yourself on the cover and it happening?
A long time. But
So don't lose hope.
that's not true. So I did that, but then I was actually asked at Liberty to be in a magazine. So I had an article featured in the magazine, and that was actually of the conscious, that was me implementing the meditation programs in the corporate world. So it came through that, and I was like, oh, is this what it's coming through? And I just thought, okay. But sometimes, and I will tell you this, here's a little tip, that when you want something and only a little portion of it comes, don't respond to that negatively. Because it's like, when you're like, oh, that's not what I asked for. Because honestly, it means it's on its way.
It's breadcrumbs.
Yes, it's already in motion. And so it's showing you, and you're like, all right, you're almost there. It's coming, I know that it's coming. The universe is listening to you. So embrace even the smaller parts, because now it's the cover.
So I think we will take one more very quick question, if anybody has one. I feel like there's one out there somewhere. Anybody? Bueller?
I have one.
Sure.
Have you ever tried Ho'oponopono?
Yes.
Try
Yes.
what? Say it louder.
You say it. I hate saying it.
No, I can barely say it. It's ho'opo. Oh, I don't know, Jen, do you know?
Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, ho'oponopono.
What is that?
So it's the practice of repeating, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry. And so, was he a Hawaiian man that implemented?
Yeah.
So he had been working, I think, in a mental institution, right? Or was it
Yeah.
some kind of facility? And he essentially shifted and healed like a whole group by just repeating that over and over and over and over and over. And I will tell you,
Never heard of
yes, for a while, I remember when I was going through stressful things, and I remember I would go to my spin class, and I would just be on my bike, and I would just say it over and over and over. I was like, over and over and over. So I absolutely, and that, was the same premise. It's like you're just putting it out there, and you're thanking the universe for everything. Thank you, and I love you. Please forgive me. And, for whatever, for judging yourself, for judging. And then it's a great practice. And yes, I do. I liked it a lot. My girlfriend shared the book with me, and I was like, oh, I like all modalities. I am not limited to anything. That's why I like different women to come in. What do you do? I want to learn. It's really about the tools, having the tools that work for you at the time based on the challenges that you're dealing with at the time. So we all shift around, but so many cool things out there.
So from one connector to another, thank you so much.
So welcome.
You're an amazing woman.
Thank you. My
You've
pleasure.
been through so much, and you've turned out to be this force of nature. So
Thank you.
thank you for sharing so many deeply private moments with us. This is, like I said, you guys, this is a safe space, and thank you for opening up your space.
Yes,
Thank you to our sponsors. Unfortunately, I have to make money. Not that you don't have to make money, but I'm saying, when you said you're not selling anything here, I am selling things here. So,
it's an energy
so
exchange.
it is
There's
there you
nothing
go.
wrong with energy exchange. Yeah. Nothing wrong with
So,
energy exchange.
For those of you, is anybody here? Is this their first event? I know you guys. This is your first event. But raise your hand if this is your very first event. Oh, awesome. Okay, welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. Rachel, you've been to another HRNG event, haven't you? No, never.
I haven't been let out of the house for a
No
couple
way!
years.
Oh my gosh! Well, welcome.
Good reason. Yeah, good reason.
Welcome. This is exciting. So we're offering HRNG membership for $125. It's actually about to go up to $175. I was supposed to raise it on January 1st, and I just want to have as many people join as possible. I have a very big heart, so would just love to just give it out for free if I could. I did for like 3 years. We just had the group for free. And so I made it a business, like I said, about 1.5 years ago, because I lost my job twice in 2022. And then everybody just said, follow your passion and do this. This is what you're meant to do. And so I did. And so I also have faith that this will be amazing. And I think I'm going to keep doing what you said. And just, if you're here, it's because you're meant to be here. If you're not, I'm just going to let it go. So nobody has to text me and say, I can't make it. I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it. You guys don't have to send me those texts anymore. Or I'm running late. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. That's why we have the 30 minutes of mingling and signing in and stuff in the beginning, because I give everybody grace, because everybody's an adult, everybody's got their things. But I would love for you guys to sign up if you want to come, and then all the events, all these types of events, I think we're going to make them free for members, because I was going to charge a little something. And then for non-members, I think we're kind of playing around with it. I think it'll be, this one was 5, but I think it'll be 10 probably moving forward. So we're trying to make it as affordable as we can.
Yeah.
But these are so valuable. Thank you so much. Did everybody really enjoy this today? Thank you so much, Kimie. Congratulations on your success and your cover. I can't wait to see the cover. You're going to have to share that with us.